All right, I think we're going.
All right.
Let me refresh this real quick. All right, yep, it says it's starting. Hi.
The hardest part of this is going to be remembering to call you Peter.
Remembering to what?
To call you Peter.
To
You know?
Deci.
Yeah, that's going to be the hardest bit of all this.
Okay, I'm what?
It's like doing a bank robbery. I'm going to say your real name. You're like, you
Right.
fucked up, man. You fucked up.
All right. Well, I guess I'll welcome all zero of the people out there watching.
Whatever. Fuck it. You got a Corona?
Yeah, yeah.
All
I'm
right.
not doing the hard alcohol thing right now. I'm
Fair
wondering
enough.
if I should fucking toke. I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know
You're
if
in.
it'll
You're
help.
in. Where you're in the Pacific
It's
Northwest,
it's
right?
it's
So
legal
it's
here,
cool.
yeah. But I
Yeah,
don't. I'm not like a big. It makes me really loopy. I just like kind of
that's probably going to be
tune
good
out.
for the.
But I get like really like anti. So I mean, I do like to talk a lot while I'm stoned though. But anyways,
You get antisocial, but you like to talk a lot.
yeah. Uh,
Conflicting, conflicting concerns there, but whatever.
so I guess this is number one on the list. Is that
Coolest monkey in the jungle. Beautiful. Way
so?
to go, H&M Marketing. You
Our
really
friends at H&M
hit it out of the
caused
park on that one.
quite a stir with their coolest monkey in the jungle advert that they
Right.
immediately pulled and then regretted. But
This kid looks like he's pissed off to be wearing it too. He
yeah,
looks mad as fuck.
I'm sure.
He
Yeah,
doesn't look like he wants to be there. You know why? You know why he doesn't want to be there?
why?
It's because his mom drug him to some fucking like modeling studio. The guy's probably like a fucking pedo, and they pose him in front of this camera and shit.
Oh well, so this
That's the
company,
story. That's the story I'm told when I look at the picture. I don't know about you, but
I think it's innocent. I mean, honestly, I mean the company is Swedish. I mean, I don't know.
H&M is Swedish.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of racial tensions going on over there in Sweden, but you know, it it caused a lot of outrage and
Well, here's the
pushback.
thing, Peter.
Here's
I don't know.
here's
Is this
that's LeBron James.
right?
Apparently felt compelled to speak for the little boy and show.
That's an interesting take on this, and I'll tell you why. So I don't know if you know anything about the clothing industry or whatever, but if you build a website to sell or resell clothing, usually what they do is they send you a stock set of models wearing. You may pick a certain model of t-shirt that you're going to sell. Say you're selling t-shirts and hoodies, right? They're going to send you a stock set of models wearing the cut of the t-shirt and hoodies that you're selling. And then what happens is there's a macro where you take your design and it gets basically photoshopped on to the model.
Well,
So
I mean,
it's done so it blends in nicely, like with all the wrinkles and the lighting and
I was gonna
stuff.
say because if you look at the original, I mean, that looks like he's wearing that shirt. I mean,
Right. But the macros are so good that it'll take, like, say somebody just wrote coolest monkey in the jungle in Photoshop somewhere and they just did it in the whatever, I can't tell what kind of font that is, but whatever font they did it in. And they came up with that design, right? What the macros are so good that it takes that image and it will basically like superimpose it onto the image of this model wearing that hoodie.
yeah.
And it blends it in with the wrinkles and the shading, and you can't even tell.
Well, I
Um,
mean, I can
so
see
in,
that
in
with those
H&M's
custom
defense,
T-shirt things because I mean,
right?
but I mean, you know,
What I'm saying is that a lot of people might ask the question, well, how could H&M be so dumb as to like you people might fall into one of two camps, right? They might say, okay, H&M is racist for putting this out. And then there's the other people who might say, how could H&M be so stupid as to put that shirt on a black kid, right?
right?
What I think happened is that no one ever knew who the fuck it was going on. They just had their design that probably wasn't even designed by H&M. They probably bought it off somebody, and they have an automated, program that just runs this macro and applies it to whatever image that they have in their stock library. And that's like by chance, it wound up on the one that would cause Murphy's Law. It wound up on the one that was going to cause all the trouble.
Well, so apparently, this says that the mom spoke out on her Facebook page and says people should get over it. And it says, according to African Warrior magazine, the mother's a Kenyan living in Stockholm, and she went on Facebook, says it's blown out of proportion, and her quote is, this was one of hundreds of outfits my son's modeled. Stop crying wolf all the time. Unnecessary issues here. Get over it. And
good for her.
And so most likely, I have a feeling that, regardless of whether or not something was photoshopped onto it, it doesn't matter what their technique is for modeling.
Well, here,
he modeled it one way or another. Whether he wore the shirt in real person or somebody put the shirt on him, but the fact of the matter is the mom knew the shirt was on him. So if anybody has responsibility, if anybody should be pissed at anybody, be pissed at the fucking mom. Then call the mom ignorant. It started with her and then, went all the way up the chain, all the way to the head honchos who sign off on this shirt. And who knows how many of them might have been black, and
well, the thing is, I don't know that anybody signed. There's a lot of facets to this, right? Quick question though. You see at the top there where you can change the color of the shirt?
Yeah, but those are different designs altogether.
Oh, they are.
Like
designs too.
Yeah, because there was an uproar about the orange shirt says something about a cheetah or something, and it had a white kid on it, and they're like, well, why does the white kid get to be the cheetah and the black kid?
So it goes both ways. Like if you're a monkey, you can't be black, but if you're a cheetah, you must be black, because why does the white kid get to be faster? But it's bizarre. That doesn't make any sense.
The whole thing is bizarre because, who knows if anywhere in the world other than the United States, I can only think of one thing, is that, okay, maybe a black person doesn't want to be associated with monkey because, there's the old derogatory term porch monkey,
right.
Or maybe it's the general idea that, monkeys are inferior to humans and it makes them subhuman or whatever. But it's a land-based animal, first of all. How many black people you ever see swimming, right? I'm just saying, there's worse things to be associated with. Monkeys are cool. I would love to have a chimpanzee following me around everywhere, and while I'm wearing a yellow hat.
That people call their little kids. They say,
and
hey,
they do.
Hey,
yes, that's the other thing.
Monkey,
yeah,
I can remember my parents saying, "Hey, monkey," or whatever.
Right.
It's not.
That's one of the most ironic things is that this girl I dated a couple months ago for a week. She always referred to her daughter as monkey. She's like, I'm going to go see my little monkey and blah, blah, blah. And I had never even really heard that before. Somebody that, hard pressed to call their kid monkey all the time. But it is. It's an endearing term. Kids, call their, or parents call their kids monkey all the time. I think, people just want to get, crazy, and it's unfortunate, that everything, turns out, to be an issue.
I feel like there's a lot of things at play here, but none of it's going to get taken out. Good for the mom, I guess, for not jumping on the bandwagon and trying to get something.
Well, they got paid, I'm sure.
Yeah, they got paid, but that doesn't mean she wasn't going to try to get paid again. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. I regret doing that, and it's your fault.
Right? Yeah, let the right people get a hold of her, and I'm sure that the tune might change. But I think there's a better story here. If we could find out that it was in fact an algorithm that did this, I think that goes into talking about like all the issues that we have around AI right now, and talking about how those things are going to take jobs and shit. Because even if we get like, and they do have it, they have systems that will go through and just apply your designs to random models, right? Using the macro I'm talking about.
Right.
But the thing is that this just goes to show that we still have to have people checking those, because no matter how smart we make AI, like it's never going to be smart enough to predict how fucking stupid we are.
Well, I mean, to me,
You know what I mean?
the thing about AI though is I mean, it's it's a tool. I mean, and it's created by. I mean, all computer programs, you know, are based off of like, you know, humans. Like humans have to go in there and program every possible outcome. That's why we have things called bugs, you know, because somebody fucked up somewhere and they didn't think that, you know, the Susie was going to click somewhere off the screen, you know, or that, you know, I mean, that,
Right.
you know, when it asks for, you know, a number, you know, you're going to, you know, try to paste a meme in that box or whatever. I mean, it's like, you know, errors and all that things have to be predetermined for any piece of software to work. You know, you have to have error trapping and all of that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's like, it's never going to, how is it ever going to be smarter? You know, how is it ever?
Well, it never would be, because here's the it's interesting that you call it a bug, right? Because if it's a bug, if we're going to call it a bug, then it's a non-technical bug, meaning that it's something that's not functionally wrong that this got applied to this model, but it produces an undesired outcome, right?
Right.
So that has to be, you're saying that has to be accounted for in the system. Okay, we can write AI to do that. We can say, don't, you know, these words are, we shouldn't associate those words with black people. So if that word is contained in the design,
Right,
don't apply it to it. Okay,
but then if there's a new word,
yeah, those definitions shift, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
that has to constantly be updated. And who could have predicted that? Okay, so it says like, don't put cheetah on the black kid because like
Or
that's
monkey.
an animal, right? Yeah, or monkey. Then it goes on the white kid, and now it's going the other way. They're saying, well, why does it have to be on a white kid? Shouldn't the black kid be a cheetah? To give you an example, there was an advertisement about the Edge browser from Microsoft, and in the advertisement, it's talking about how this browser is faster or whatever, right? And there's a kid in one of those like Playmobil cars, you know what I mean? And he's just having a blast, and there's another kid behind him just like running and pushing it, right? And the kid sitting in the car is white, and the one pushing it is black. So you know how that shook out in the comments section on that ad.
Right.
Like, I have to tell you, like, you see where this is going.
So
So Go ahead.
the latest thing is that, you know, in South Africa they're a total uproar, you know, over this.
There are a large group of EFF delegates outside H&M in Sandton City. Police are also monitoring the situation, as you can see.
That guy just laughed at the camera.
I mean, they're going fucking nuts. I mean, this isn't even the best part.
They even choreographed it.
So check this out though. This is a little bit later.
Is this allowed? Woo! Ninja style.
Ninja style, ninja style.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, what better way to prove you're not a monkey than to fucking
Yeah.
destroy a fucking department store?
Oh, ninja. Yeah, yeah.
Go ninja, go! Go monkey ninja! Woo!
I don't think it's very ninja to be in broad daylight.
Yeah, it's very,
Tear the fuck out of a
ninjas
store.
usually
Like-
don't make their presence known until you
Right.
have a knife in your throat. They were very vocal.
That's what I thought the idea was. Yeah.
Right? Oh, come on, man. That'd just be, a little bit of common sense,
I mean, in all fairness, South Africa is a shithole. So,
Shithole.
yeah, shithole.
But yeah, that shit's just fucking crazy. Like, it's a goddamn fucking t-shirt. Like, if you don't like it, don't buy it. Move on.
Yeah.
There's not much else to it. So
There's no edge to this. Like, as long as
you're frozen. Oh wait,
okay,
there you
let me know
go.
when I'm back.
Yeah, you're back.
All right, what I was saying is there's no edge to this. What I mean by that is that as long as the appearance of or the acceptance of things as being racist that aren't racist continues, there's no end to the slide into decadence, right? Like people just keep pushing it and calling something racist that's not racist. If we didn't put a black kid, like if H&M didn't have any black kids in their advertisements, that'd be racist. And now that they have one,
Right.
or several in their advertisements, now we gotta be judicious about what shirts we have them modeling. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing is that
right. There has to be pushback. So
is that so. On the flip side, if this was done innocently and it passed all of these things and, the mom approved, right, and it was innocent, and people have a problem with it, to me it's like the whole reverse racism thing. It's like, well, who is the real racist if you're looking to be offended by something?
Right.
If the offense isn't, it's not like, if it's it's hard to know if it was deliberate. But to me that would be like financial suicide. If some guys there, we're gonna put this shirt out, it's gonna be this little rib to black people, and we can be racist and still have our still have our shirts online or whatever. There's some you got to imagine getting into somebody's head who would want to do this on purpose to like offend people, and then realize that it's a good way to lose, people, buy customers. It's
yeah, no one is doing this shit on purpose, especially not from fucking Sweden. So like, no one is gonna sit and say like, I would rather just offend a bunch of black people because haha, it's funny. Like, your money spends just as good as white people's money. We're not going to offend a huge section of the world, especially for building. If we're expanding into Africa, which it looks like H&M is obviously doing, since they've got stores in South Africa.
Well, and apparently they have. like The Weeknd and I'm not sure who all is behind or was behind H&M, but they had, there was obviously, a set of, black people that were behind it. That originally
right.
that were, they had made an effort to try specifically to appeal to black people, but
Right.
but I think the idea is though that, they're a clothing company. They just want to appeal to everybody. Like, they don't make, specifically for black people. It's not like Rockaware or whatever Diddy's thing is, where it's like that's their core. Like in that aspect, it's like, how is that not right? But at the same time, it's just whatever you want. Like, if Jay-Z wants to make, everything in black for black people and doesn't care to sell his shit to white people, then that's his choice. It's not racist. It's just his choice to like want to exclude a subset of people because of a culture. It's a cultural choice,
So yeah, like, and I don't have a problem with that. More power to him. If he wants to if Jay-Z wants to market, or whoever wants to market a specific clothing to a subset of the market and be exclusionary, why should I give a fuck? Like,
right?
Who cares? Like, I don't care. like that doesn't keep me awake at night. So that's his problem. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it, but I do think it's interesting that people assume, if you read like people who study marketing and things like that, it's almost like you oftentimes, from what I've read, and you can read into like, there's a guy called Gad Sad and other people in marketing and do like evolutionary biology and behaviorism and stuff like that. It's almost sometimes like you have to market differently to different races. So, but that being said, I don't think you market differently for fucking kids clothing. Like you stick this shirt on a kid model and it looks cute and that's what parents buy. So there's obviously no racism intended here.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the other thing it's like, you know, I mean the kid doesn't know any better, you know, and then I mean like, you know, I would love to be a fly on the wall when somebody explains to that kid that because of a sweatshirt that he got his picture taken in, that company is now has stores being ransacked in South Africa.
Yeah, the kid doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna go back to playing with his Kinder eggs, whatever.
But like, I mean, try that. You know, try explaining that. You know, to a little 4-year-old or something that, you know, something that they did. You know, had these kind of unintended consequences. You know, and yeah, it's really strange.
It is.
So you want to check out that Oprah.
So the Oprah thing, sure.
Yeah. So because I've been hearing a lot about it, and you know, I wanted to wait, you know, until we were doing this to, you know,
since we're on the topic of racism, yeah, let's go ahead.
Right. Inequality in general.
There you go. Sure.
In 1964, I was a little girl sitting on the linoleum floor of my mother's house in Milwaukee, watching
You don't think she was?
Bancroft present
I think she was probably a fat ass.
the Oscar for Best Actor at the 36th Academy Awards. She opened the envelope and said 5 words that literally made history. The winner is Sidney Poitier. Up to the stage came the most elegant man I had
like clap. So the 5 words that literally made history. Do you think that 100 years from now, it's a fart in the wind that Sidney Poitier won some bullshit award that no one gives a fuck about in 1964?
I mean,
at the end of the day, these people are so full of themselves that they think what they're doing is important and historical. It's not. You're an actor. You pretend for a living.
Well,
you get up and you pretend for a living, and then you give yourselves awards every year to determine who the best pretender of the year was. And that year, it happened to be a black dude. That's not historical.
Well, you know, I mean, in the context of, you know, social inequality and racism. I mean, you know, it's no, you know, as far as in her mind, in her subset, you know, then yes, it's historical. Just as, you know, with transgender people, you know, Caitlyn Jenner winning the ESPY is going to be historical, you know,
it's noteworthy or historical for her lifetime, but that's not what she's thinking. Like, the grandeur and the gravitas that she gives to the situation,
it
ego. Goes beyond. Right? Yeah,
everybody thinks that what's most important to them is going to be most important to everybody else if they're full of themselves like that. I mean, but she's paid to be full of her. I mean, she's paid to be an influencer, and people, you know, I mean, whatever's important to her is automatically important to, you know, everybody else. You know, that's what influencers do. You know. Here, let's check out.
I remember his tie was white, and of course his skin was black, and I'd never seen a black man being
oh shit!
Like that. And I have tried
his skin was a little green that day.
Many times to explain what a moment like that means to a little girl, a kid watching from the cheap seats, as my mom came through the door, bone tired from cleaning other people's houses.
Yeah, it means fuck, I didn't do dinner.
Yeah, right. Let's turn that shit off.
Yeah, it means I'm in for a fucking ass whooping is what it means. Sitting on the
Right.
goddamn linoleum watching some black guy get an award while mom's fucking cleaning other houses. Like, Jesus Christ. Get in the fucking kitchen.
She was probably in the kitchen.
It means the fucking pork chops are burnt, bitch.
But all I can do is quote and say that the explanation in Sydney's performance in Lilies of the Field, amen, 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 amen.
That's what I say, you know, after a bout of diarrhea too.
Yeah.
But I
What's
don't.
the deal with all these SJW people and that set of glasses? Like they all wear the same fucking glasses.
What up?
What up?
Hey,
How
oh,
you doing? That was
that was
That was really close up.
that's
Whoa, what's
seriously
going on?
though. We're
Whoa.
this is
Cool. I like that.
you got any freestyles for us?
Does it have to be about spaghetti?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
How about can you do
mean,
an
like-
Oprah freestyle?
All right. You get a gun, you get a gun, you get a gun, you get a gun, you get a trapping with my hun, trapping with my hun, trapping with my hun, trapping with my hun, trapping with my. I'm a talk show radio and talk show TV, but I know you ain't never gonna see me when I'm in your crib, knife to your ribs, bitch, and I'm handing out all the poison gifts, bitch.
Here, let's watch a little bit more. Have you seen this Oprah thing? I'm watching it for the first time. Have you
Oh.
have you seen this historical?
No idea what you're talking about.
It's Oprah. Here,
1982,
accepting
Sydney
an
received the
award
Cecil B.
for
DeMille Award
being
right here at the
like
Golden Globes.
important.
And it is not lost on me that at
Like
this
important.
moment, there are some little girls watching as I become the first black woman to be given this same honor, and it is a privilege to share the evening with all of them, and also with the incredible men and women who've inspired me, who've challenged me, who've sustained me, and made my journey to this stage possible. Dennis Swanson, who took a chance on me for AM Chicago. Quincy Jones, who saw me on that show and said to Steven Spielberg, yes, she is Sophia in The Color Purple. Gail, who's been the definition of what a friend is, and Stedman, who's been my rock, just a few to name. I'd like to thank the Hollywood Foreign Press
Now
Association.
wait, calling.
We all know.
Does anybody really want to be called a rock? I mean,
I know.
I don't want anybody calling me a fucking rock. I mean, how
I don't think
how
Stedman gives a
insensitive
fuck.
is
Stedman
that?
has been riding that train for what,
Like,
30
how
years now?
smart do you really think a rock is?
Right?
Stedman-
That's derogatory,
Call
really.
me a rock all day long. Like he gets to sit at home and do nothing, and he's married to a billionaire, like, whatever. Or he's not even married to her. He's just like a living
they're not
boyfriend.
married? Wait, they're living in sin?
I believe they are cohabitating. I don't know. I don't keep up with Oprah and her like personal issues. So.
Just so you guys know,
This is under siege these days.
What?
Okay, I'm at work,
Yeah?
but I figured I'd just pop in for like 30 minutes. I told them if they need me to make any pastas or anything, I'll come out and do that. But yeah, you got my
Yeah,
undivided attention
after
for
the-
like 30, 40 minutes.
And after this, because you wanted to make a commentary on, what was it?
Oprah and baby dick face.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You came in at the very time.
Yeah, I was stoked that Oprah was coming out. He asked me to do an Oprah freestyle. I'm like, yo, this is all about Oprah, isn't it?
Well,
I
you just.
knew you got me on here for a reason.
Well, yeah, we're just gonna finish this, and then we'll get into how Oprah likes to spread circumcision cream on her face.
What?
Yeah, dude.
But we also know that it is the
She
insatiable
does have very
dedication
smooth skin.
to uncovering the
Yeah.
Number one,
absolute
And
what
hearing-
the fuck
hearing
is
her voice
circumcision?
that keeps
right
us
after you
from
said
turning
that
a
is
blind
really
eye to corruption and to injustice,
Baby dick face.
to tyrants
Oh, there you go.
and
That's
victims and secrets and lies. I want to say that I value the press more than ever before, as we try to navigate these complicated times, which brings me to this. What I know for sure is that speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have.
What if
And
your
I'm
truth is
especially
bullshit?
proud.
What if the truth
Yeah,
is
what if
bullshit?
your truth, like, what if you're just fucked up?
What if
Like, what if you're schizophrenic? Is your truth, is that the most powerful thing? Speaking your
Right?
truth?
It's like if your truth is the most powerful thing, then Trump's truth is his most powerful thing. So he thinks he's the most fucking powerful thing because he thinks he's true. But
well,
he's all
that's
bullshit.
that is what that is. You know, like what is it when when people really are. I mean, you know, if you have dementia, I'm sorry, but your truth was in 1940. Like, and it doesn't apply to today. like, if you're still
even
stuck
remember how
in
to
the
spell
past,
dementia.
you know, you're not really, you know. I mean, and yeah, if people are fucking psychotic, you know, like they can swear the fucking sky is green, but you know, in objective reality, you know, it doesn't mean shit. I mean. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah.
But it's speaking your truth, and that's the most powerful thing. All
but,
these fucking platitudes that these jackasses throw out all the time that mean shit. Like, just speak your truth.
It's just spin. I mean,
it sounds good. It sounds good, and you get a bunch of dumbasses to and then what? It didn't do fuck all for anybody.
Well, yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm assuming there's a really meaty part to this because so far
there's
I'm
no
not.
meaty part to this.
I'm not.
There's no
She's a
meaty
pretty
part
meaty
to this.
woman. Let's get it.
Yeah, I mean,
Inspired
the
by
meaty
all
part to
the
this is
women
her hips.
who have felt strong enough and empowered enough to speak
Oh,
up
God.
and share their personal stories.
This
Each of
fucking
us in
lady's
this
crazy.
room are celebrated because of the stories
Oh,
that
you
we
are?
tell. And this year, we became the story. But it's not
Talking about
just
Harvey
a
Weinstein?
story
Wait.
affecting the
Who became
entertainment
the story exactly? I mean, Hollywood has always been their own story. I don't, like, when are they ever not talking about themselves? I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
seriously.
like.
And even when they aren't, they're telling somebody else's story, and then they take credit for acting for it.
Exactly.
Like,
Right, they
don't,
take credit
don't
for
forget
pretending out
who
somebody else's
acted
story.
that character. Yeah, exactly. It's like Jim
To the
Carrey
point where they
did,
get more fucking glory than the guy who.
Andy
Right.
Kaufman, yeah.
They get more
Yeah.
fucking glory than the guy who did the thing to begin with.
Exactly.
Well,
It's
plus,
like-
Jim Carrey,
nobody
for
gives
example.
any credit to the fucking camera operators, you know. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, like, when do they get to tell their
If I told
story?
you- if I said Mark Wahlberg to you, you know who Mark Wahlberg is.
Yeah, of course.
Now, if I say Marcus Luttrell, do you know who he is?
No.
Exactly. But because Mark Wahlberg fucking played him in Lone Survivor. You don't know who that guy is. He should have. So even they're always fucking getting their asses kissed in Hollywood or licked or however you want to say it. And the fact that you're going to sit up there and give yourselves awards for just doing a job that
For
doesn't mean
repeating
shit.
other people's stories, essentially.
I think in 5 to 10 years, we lost Alex.
Uh-oh.
Is that his name, Alex?
Yeah.
I think
Seriously.
in 5.
Whoa, hold on. You're breaking up really bad.
years-
Wait. You're not feeding in.
I'm not feeding in.
Well, yeah, your voice started cutting out. I think you're good now.
All right. I think in 5 to 10 years there isn't a Hollywood anymore. Like I think people are sick of that shit.
Well, I mean, that what we're doing right now. I mean, YouTube and you know, a lot. I mean,
Netflix, Hulu,
well,
Amazon
but those still have to be
originals.
created by studios and stuff like that. But I mean, definitely things are going to change. You know, whether or not.
Yeah, but how hard is it at this point to go start your own studio? And at the end of the day, does Joe Sixpack care about the quality of actor that's acting out his wet dream in a movie?
Well, I mean, there
Most of
is.
the time, no. Like,
I mean, that's the thing, though. Is I mean, you know, I do have some respect, for artists, and actors, with a craft who are really believable, who are really able to empathize with a script and a situation and give a performance that makes you think that person is really somebody else. I mean,
They're
you
the
know,
best. They're the best at what they do, and they do a good job at it. And you can't take that away from them. I never would.
and sometimes some
when you
actors just
elevate
play
yourself-
themselves, you know, and that's even good. You know, like Jack Black. When does he ever play a character that isn't reminiscent of just, you know, a generic Jack Black character? You know, I mean,
Understood. And you can't take that credit away from him. But when
right,
you
because he's
elevate
funny
yourself to
the way
level
he
of
is. He doesn't
God,
have to play somebody else, you know.
When you elevate yourself to the level of God, just because you are an actor and you're the best at what you do,
I mean,
people
it's a
are silly.
high. It's a high that people get from doing this.
The,
From
the
putting on-
attention,
they like
you
to
mean,
say it's for,
and the money.
they say it's
Like,
for
there's a lot of reasons they do it, and I mean, I'm sure the getting high part is, you know, I mean, they have Xanax for that.
Oh, hell yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. They got the best Xanax. They don't got that fucking fake little peep Xanax.
Here, let's-
It's one that transcends any culture, geography, race, religion, politics, or workplace. So I want tonight to express gratitude to all the women who have endured years of abuse. and assault because they, like my mother, had children to feed and bills to pay and dreams to pursue.
Can you guys hear me?
yeah,
Yeah, we hear you.
that's, you know,
Okay,
that's
all right.
one thing though that sometimes I mean, it kind of irks me that somehow having a family and raising a family isn't enough of a dream anymore. Like, I mean, like why is it so hard to accept? Like, I mean, there's nothing more important than, you know, like
Well, they've
raising
sold women. They've
than
sold
raising a
women.
decent human being.
Right.
And why marginalize that aspect? Like, I don't get it.
Exactly. They've sold women and men, unfortunately. On the,
What are you
having a
doing,
family-
man? Are you in a thunderstorm?
I don't know. They've sold them that having a family isn't that important, right? Or it's not.
Are you
enough of
talking
a
to
dream.
me? Am I in
Yeah,
that
you're breathing
thunderstorm?
really heavy.
Yeah,
into
you're
the
like
mic.
breathing right into the microphone. I'm about to mute your
better?
damn ass.
Yeah,
Is it better? I'm sorry, you
That's
should have
better.
said something.
I just
Well, yeah, well, it seemed like it wasn't early enough, okay?
Peter, the quality of this
Jesus.
fucking podcast.
What the fuck?
wait. I want to see the beard. What are you? What are you? You're like Sir Galahad over here.
It's
What the
fucking warm, dude. I like it. My special hat. I like it.
This one.
All right, but so wait, what
It's
were
my
you?
fancy sauce.
What were you saying, Deci?
I don't know. Who gives a shit? Families, they don't want people to.
Yeah,
have
well, that
them.
was like my point. It's like you know, somehow, you know, with the cultural, you know, revolution, birth control, all this other stuff, women's lib, that somehow raising a family there wasn't enough glory in it. You know, there wasn't
Yeah.
enough recognition in raising a family to where, you know, oh, well, you know, but I mean, I can understand, like, once kids get older, you know, like 12, 13, 14, you know, they're spending more time away from the house. They want to be with their friends. They don't, you know, want you, you know, holding their hand to fucking Boy Scouts or whatever. And, you know, you get a career or do whatever outside of the
But
house.
see, the
That's
thing was, is
understandable.
that
But
women-
to make it seem
Right.
like that's, you know, at the forefront of where your life should be, as opposed to just accepting the reality of raising some cool ass fucking kids. It just
The thing is that women never didn't have a career. Like that, it's just shifted as to what the definition of career is, right? So like it or not, biology has determined that women fucking carry children and men don't.
right, exactly. Like you
You're
can't.
stuck with the kid for 9 months, like it or not, anyway. After that, if you
Yeah.
decide to keep the child, like, and you're going to raise it, it feeds off of your body for the first year to 2 years, right? And then after that,
Yeah, creepily enough, yeah, it does.
and then after that, ask any kid up until the age of, I don't know, like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, when they fall down and scrape their knee, they don't cry for daddy. They cry for
Yeah,
mom.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because mom is
Because
the
there is
caretaker.
there is a bond between
Right.
a child and their mother that you cannot replace with a
Exactly.
man. No matter how much of fucking tension you give it, it's just it's inconceivable that a man could replace a woman. And what's wrong
So
with that? Why is that
And
bad?
if you're mad and you want something fixed,
Absolutely.
you yell dad.
Exactly.
Yeah,
If your
right.
bike is
Why do you
broken,
yell
you
dad?
yell for dad.
Yeah.
Dad.
Right. Dad's a wallet and a wrench, and mom is, love and cookies and all that. And we lost Alex again. Alex should get his dad to fix his fucking internet connection.
He is out and about,
Okay,
but
all right.
but yeah. So
But what I was going to say is this: I feel like if you're a woman and if you're anybody, if you're a man, like it doesn't matter. If you have decided to have children, and you want to raise the best children that you can, you need to seriously think about your wife or the woman taking herself out of the workforce for X number of years to ensure the proper raising of that child in their early developmental years.
Right.
I think that's the most important thing for kids.
Yeah, and there's really no
I like your office. Sorry.
And there's really
Thank
no
you.
replacement
I
for that
appreciate it.
either. It's like having a child and then deciding, oh, my career is more important, so they're going to go to daycare where they're going to get fed formula, and they're going to lose that kind of bonding aspect of the actual physical, act of breastfeeding or whatever. I mean, it's a lot of trade-offs, and for something, I mean, who knows what the long-term effects are? I personally feel like, breast milk is I mean, there's things that you cannot duplicate with science, and even if it was down to just the chemical makeup of whatever it was, it's like there's an emotional thing happening, and I think that that's part of the deal with the increasing generations from the 60s on, is there's less and less of that emotional connection with the parents, which is why kids have tons of drug problems, and they're just watching television and just doing all sorts of it doesn't seem healthy. It doesn't seem like a trend that bodes very well for the future of our society.
I mean, think about it like this. How old are you two?
I'm 38, something like that, around there.
And,
About
okay,
the same.
so I'm 24.
Oh shit! I thought you were way older than that.
I know. It's the beard. I know. So, for me, for example, like I pushed myself away, early. I didn't want like any of that connection. This close up on my face is really hard to pay attention, but I'm gonna go with it.
I'll switch it.
But now I'm like now I'm like more connected and more willing to be involved and want that connection now, because I know how important it is. And like, if I knew that before, nothing really would be too different. But like, I feel like there's like some people who can see the archaic revival in that whole like I guess culture of like being connected to your parents and having that like strong bond. And a lot of other people just aren't raised or don't hang around the right people, like the right friends or whatever, to give them the influence to be a more positive figure in your parents' life and your family's life. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm too cool for that. I'd rather just hang out with my friends, blah, blah, blah. And they don't even realize what they have until it's gone. Right. That's what's sad about it, is that, like, none of these people really figured this out until it's too late. Yeah. So I'm lucky that I, something clicked in my brain where I could figure it out, but I'm not like most 24-year-olds.
I think it's called the prefrontal cortex.
It's like 26. It's like picture 26 where it's big.
It's where emotional. It's where emotional empathy and connection and stuff. I mean, there's a part of your brain that's essentially built on your experiences with, love and care and attention. And
I would echo what Alex is saying, but maybe for a different reason. And here's how I look at the situation.
Okay.
I feel like you do need that connection with your parents, and a lot of the younger generations. I know even my generation, I don't know what we fall into, what the title of it is, but even we didn't get that. But I think that what happens is is rather than there being a healthy, I feel like you should disconnect yourself from your parents, but
Oh,
rather
yeah.
than
Eventually.
but rather than it being a healthy disconnect, like you get when you have a normal relationship with your parents, like a loving one, like we're talking about, there's an unhealthy disconnect from your parents where you're angry at them and you spend
Oh,
your
that was
life.
me.
Yeah, and you spend your life, or a lot of people, like I'm glad to hear that you got out of it, but a lot of people waste their life being angry at their parents
Yeah.
and never, and that just destroys you, right? So
Oh, yeah.
when you have the loving relationship, you're able to at some point like say, okay, these my parents did this and they messed up here, and these are the things they did well, and I can forgive them for the stuff that they did wrong and just accept them for who they are. And there's a healthy disconnect, and you move on and you become your own person.
Yeah.
But I think the younger generations are denied even having that disconnect because they've never had the connection.
Right.
Exactly. Take my family dynamic is kind of weird because my sister's dad, my brother's dad, my dad are all different. My sister's dad was like a fucking psycho crackhead asshole. My brother's dad was an alcoholic, abusive piece of shit. And then my dad comes out of nowhere like a fucking giant stuffed animal, like that can talk. And that's who I was raised by. And I didn't know until I was 18 that my brother and my sister were my half brother and half sister.
Yeah.
Because my parents hid it from me. They hid like everything from me. And I don't know why, and I don't really care to know, but like my sister like let me in on everything when I pretty much like when I was like 17 I got suspended in school, and the week that I was suspended for, my parents went out of town. They had a vacation planned. So my sister was like at the house with me watching me, and she just like gave me weed every day and like, smoked me up and fucking just played video games and like talked about the family and shit. And like I learned like more about my family in a week than my parents had ever told me. And my sister, for example, just tried to go live with her dad, her biological dad, and he like fucking snapped on her and fucking called her a bunch of names and fucking kicked her out into the street. She's fucking handicapped. She can hardly walk up a set of stairs.
Right.
She has rheumatoid arthritis, just got double knee replacement surgery, going in for double hip replacement, and he just fucking kicked her out in the middle of Tennessee with no fucking transportation, a dying cat in her broken down van, and nobody to help her move because her boyfriend just cheated on her.
Jeez.
And it's like she
When it rains, it
tried
pours.
to she tried to like reconnect with him. She tried her hardest. She contacted him somehow through other people, drove all the way to fucking Tennessee to live with him, hopefully, and things were going good. And then all of a sudden he just like snapped, like, this is why I didn't want a daughter or something, like, and just like pushed her away again. She was just like, what the fuck? It takes both parties for it to be, I don't know, failing on the word for this, but I don't know. I can't. Fuck it.
Well,
I think I understand what you're saying. It takes both people to be involved for the thing to work, right? For the
Yeah,
thing to move
exactly.
forward. So
There's a word
yeah,
for it, but
well,
you know
we're,
what I'm saying.
we're getting a little off topic. Let me switch back to Oprah so we can finally finish because it's almost been an hour and her
Baby
speech was
Joyce.
like 9 minutes. Like, so
let's add some levity to this conversation.
yeah, let's see what she had to say.
It's awesome.
Oh wait, hold on
I
one
think
second.
she was almost done, Peter.
You think so? Because I'm still.
Everybody was clapping, so I assume that she had finished.
They clapped a bunch of different times, and I didn't watch it, but because when I was editing, I could tell by the sound, like the sound wave, where the clapping was, and I cut out as much of like the random kind of clapping, as I could. So somebody else just popped in. I'm not exactly sure.
What's up, Mystic Wolf?
They're the women whose names we'll never know. They are domestic workers and farm workers. They are working in factories, and they work in restaurants, and they're in academia and engineering and medicine and science. They're part of the world of tech and politics and business. There are athletes in the Olympics, and there are soldiers in the military, and there's someone else.
I think I missed the context
Reese
because
Taylor. A name I know, and I think you should know too. In 1944, Reese Taylor was a young wife and a mother. She was just walking home from a church service. She'd attended in Abbeville, Alabama, when she was abducted by 6 armed white men, raped and left blindfolded by the side of the road, coming home from church. They threatened to kill her if she ever told anyone. But her story was reported to the NAACP, where a young worker by the name of Rosa Parks became the lead investigator on her case. And together, they sought justice. But justice wasn't an option in the era of Jim Crow. The men who tried to destroy her were never persecuted. Reese Taylor
She's
died
prosecuted,
10
I
days
think.
ago.
She's
Yeah,
persecuting
Shy
them
of
right
her
now.
90th birthday.
Right.
She lived, as we all have lived, too many years in a culture broken by brutally powerful men. For too long,
Well-
women have not been heard or believed if they
Yeah.
Oh, now,
Okay.
now we got Jose.
What's
We've
up,
got
Jose?
People popping
That's a
in.
cool name.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. ¿Qué pasa, hombre?
Buenos nachos. Buenos nachos.
Buenos nachos. Mis huevos son tus ojos.
With
mis
as
chiles
long as
tu
there's
nariz, mis huevos
jalapenos,
son tu
they're
boca.
bueno.
Muy buen, muy buen.
Muy buen, muy buen.
Domo está la cabeza.
¿Quieres un beso?
Or, Donde está la cabeza? Oh, nice.
cojo? Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna fly. That's not gonna
Oh
fly.
my god. Oh
That's
no.
not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly on the YouTube. Can we cut that?
I don't know if it was cut or not. Where our circumcision article isn't coming up
Well,
till
we were
later.
talking about circumcision cream for Oprah, right? So,
Yeah, baby dick face.
Right. I don't know what that
well,
is.
I think we're gonna have to
Wait.
scrutinize a little bit more.
Yeah, we're gonna have to lock down your joins a little bit better.
I mean, like, we
I
just need to, like,
asked him
live-
where his
live-
head was. That was my fault.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about that.
La cabeza muy pequeña.
Oh my god, dude, that's so
Muy
weird.
muy.
What was I gonna say? Fuck. Oh, so we were saying, like, you know, I was like, you know, they make this stuff out of, like, baby dick foreskin. It's fucking weird, you know. And Peter was like, well, it's made from stem cells, so they really only need like one, maybe a few baby dicks. And
I forget what it's like fibroblast, or it's a cell or something.
yeah,
So
yeah, but so
so
that
they-
means that begs the question: whose fucking baby dick is all over everybody's face?
the master blaster. I mean,
Master baby dicker?
I mean,
I think you could make an argument that we're circumcising kids or boys, which is genital mutilation, so that women can have a cream for their face.
well,
Yeah.
okay.
They're profiting off of the genital mutilation.
I mean,
of young boys.
They're making it harder
Baby.
for other people to cream on other people's faces so they can put baby dick cream on their faces.
Here's the thing, though.
Exactly. Well put.
The pharmaceutical industry, you know, which includes, you know, I would put health products under pharmaceuticals because they help people feel good about themselves, and I mean it's a drug. I mean you know, in the mind. I mean, women makeup. I mean, it's like an addiction. You know, it's all kind of interrelated.
Oxytocin.
But you know, there's a long history of healthcare products being at the forefront of not only human rights, you know, but mostly animal rights, you know, violations. I mean, it's not a new thing for there to be claims that, you know, there's been some sort of rights violation specifically for healthcare. But that, I mean, there's any number. I mean, you know, fucking sweatshirt the kid was wearing at H&M was made by a little boy in a sweatshop. I mean, so, but the bottom line is I mean, to me, it's not like they're cutting off the penis they don't have the circumcision.
Well, they're
And
not
then,
cutting off the penis.
I mean,
They're cutting off the
right?
foreskin.
Well, he keeps saying dick face, and but they,
don't get it-
I
don't
don't
get
think they
confused.
specify.
I think it's just
it is
catchy.
only-
It's
You don't have to mansplain circumcision to me, okay? I get it. I know, they take a cigar cutter and it's done. But
I don't think it's a cigar cutter either.
No,
I
they
don't-
bite
you know.
the dick off and then suck.
well, or if you're Jewish, they just bite it off. But anyways,
bite it off.
so, but it. So what to me? What most likely they found a use for something that was already being done. Like it's not like they some healthcare company went into somebody and offered them like $1 million to circumcise their boy specifically for it was like they probably had like a little bin of foreskins somewhere and decided these are like stem cells. There's something in here that we can experiment
Right,
with.
but the problem with that is that's a part of that person's body.
Well,
And
Hey
if you're
guys,
gonna use it,
so my phone is gonna die at any moment now because this app
Okay.
drains a shit ton of battery. I can't really find my charger for some reason. So,
well, you got to get back to work probably anyways. You're like,
I mean, I clocked out, so I'm fine.
oh.
I do need to get back to work. Though. There's good chatting.
But yeah, well, I appreciate bringing to light the fact that Oprah spreads foreskin cream all over her face.
Yeah.
It's actually, I did some it's actually from 2013, I think, was the original issue, and people are now bringing it to light again because, of course, this is how society works. Is somebody does something in the moment, and then somebody wants to scrutinize something they did 5 years ago. But I don't.
He's out.
All right, Alex. Thank you. But yeah,
Here's the thing I was saying though is that if they're using that to make a product, that's a part of me, right? Or that's a part of that
potentially,
person.
you're right.
So they're due some reciprocation on that, I think.
You're
And
talking about
the problem
are
with-
you talking about financial compensation? Like, is that what this is
Absolutely.
about? Oh
Yeah,
shit!
because here's the thing. If they're here's why, and here's why I say that. So back in the 80s, I know that they would just circumcise boys. They didn't ask. You know what I mean? Like they would just go ahead and it was just done as a matter of course, right? They would just do the circumcision. And I think in some places it's still like that. Like if the parent doesn't specifically opt out of the circumcision, then they're doing it.
Right.
So
well,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm with you. If the parents said, yeah, go ahead and circumcise the kid, and they got a bunch of like foreskins lying around, and they just found a way to make use of it, yeah, I have no problem with that. But if they're going in, and being surreptitious about it, like doing it on the down low, like, well, don't ask these people because then, like, if we don't ask, we can just go ahead and do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's a monetary incentive for that, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
You follow-
Well,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Well, and I doubt that it's a case necessarily where, this is being done specifically for that. I mean, it's just like, it's just like stem cell. I mean, it's not like somebody paid somebody to have a baby just so they could take it's like this was happening anyways. And so like, how can we use it in research, for whatever? I mean, it seems fairly, I mean, I think that, to me, the crazy part is using something that's so sensitive, pun intended,
Right.
but, for something so benign. I mean, for, for skin cream, so some, 80-year-old bag, can look 79 and a half. I mean, like, who the
Right.
fuck, I mean, yeah. And I'm outraged at the fact that, that they would maybe specifically circumcise somebody only for that reason. But I don't think I don't think that they're necessarily, that's not, circumcision was around way before the skin cream was, and
For sure, yeah.
So it's not
Well,
like,
it started other than for Jewish people and Muslims, it spread to the Gentiles because of Graham.
well, the theory is that it was done that. Oh yeah, right.
So you won't masturbate.
Yeah, the theory is that it was done. The official story is for hygiene. But
yeah, well, just pull your dick skin back and wash your dick off. Like that, it's not that big a deal. Like to wash it off. It's not. There's no hygiene benefit to it. If you're taking a shower, it's very easy to train people to just wash their penis. Like,
right.
Hey, this is how you got to wash your penis. You're not circumcised.
Well, yeah, and that's the deal is that
it was done. It was, and then they also claim that there's a penile cancer benefit, but as long as your hygiene is good, like that's been proven to be, there's no correlation. So it was done. There's no argument, like everybody knows why they did it. It's so that people it makes masturbation harder.
Yeah, and it's just that the funny thing is it's like it started. It's very connected to religious practices, and which is so ironic to me because that's like saying God made a mistake. I mean, it's literally saying, these perfect humans that were created in God's image. I mean, so does that mean that God is circumcised? Like,
right, yeah.
I mean, like, what does that mean? Like to insinuate that something needs to be done so drastic, so early in life, as to scar an individual, and that's the other thing is like, psychology, of the day, 100 years ago or whatever, especially like Freud was like, because you can't remember what happened, for the first, 4 years, you have no memory of that as an adult, that nothing that happens at that time matters or something. Like your personality isn't being developed at that time, and your whole, the basis of your entire reality, somehow is not being created, as soon as you come out of the womb, that, because you have no conscious memory of being, circumcised, that it didn't somehow affect you. And I think that's bullshit. I mean, I think that it could lead to plenty of psychological issues of non-trust of authority and stuff like that, that.
I don't know. Maybe, I can't say, I don't know enough about it. I know that I don't agree with it. To me, there's no reason to do it. So I would definitely opt out of doing it.
Well, hey,
I think as far as the religion thing, I think the story was that it was like a covenant with God. Like it was like a test that God gave the Jews. He was like, if you really want to prove your loyalty or your commitment to me, then you'll do this.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like something like a fucking cult leader like David Koresh would do.
For sure. Right? So, I'm not passing judgment on the Judaic faith or whatever, but I'm calling bullshit. Like I wouldn't do it to my kid.
Right. I mean, how is that any different than fucking a Hollywood producer saying you need to give me a blowjob before you get a part in my fucking movie?
Right, yeah.
I mean, at least you maintain, bodily integrity. I mean, so you want to finish.
You think doing it to a baby is bad? Imagine doing it when you're 13 or whatever, which is what they did back then.
Well, I mean, at least if you had some choice in it, or or if there was something behind it, like some kind of rite of passage or ritual thing, I can understand that. I mean, people do stupid things all the time just to be part of the crowd as a ritual, whether it's, getting fucking their ears pierced or getting a tattoo or, plenty people manipulate their fucking bodies voluntarily all the fucking time and for nothing other than attention and to get accepted, so to say that this is that much different, I mean, it is only to me because of the simple fact that, you know, we're sexual creatures, and you're for a guy, you know, there's nothing, you know, quite as important as your fucking penis, you know, and leaving it intact, you know, and
maybe the balls. The balls are always like the unsung hero.
The unsung hero.
The whole thing, right?
But, you know, yeah, I mean, but so, you know, it's like quite a step to go from, oh, hey, you know, when you're 13, you know, you're going to get your ears pierced and you'll be part of the club, versus, yeah, we're going to, like, you know, chop your foreskin off and you won't, you know, be quite as, you know, sex won't be nearly as good for like your entire life, and you never even got a chance to even have it first. It's like,
exactly.
That's kind of fucked. You know,
it is. I'm against it.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, what person in their right fucking mind would, you know, looking at the evidence, would say that, you know, it's a good thing, other than, you know, there's being some sort of religious context to it. But and then when it comes down to that, it's like, well, I mean, people do crazy shit voluntarily to be part of a religion all the time. So, you know, but to force that choice on young kids is, you know, but that's the thing. People do that all the time without the body manipulation. I mean, putting their kids in fucking Bible studies before they could barely even fucking talk, and, you know, then forcing them to believe that, you know, the earth was created, you know, 10 years after the dinosaurs supposedly didn't exist or whatever. I mean, like, whatever they want you to believe to be a part of whatever, you know, cult.
You gotta be part of the group.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I don't know. Let's switch back to, let's see what the hell else Oprah has to say. Cause
let's polish it up, and we'll finish up with Oprah, and then we'll call it a
we'll be done. Because I got a couple other surprises, but
is it going to be a surprise like Jose? Because
I don't know that. I have no idea what the hell is going on with that.
Do you know that guy?
No, I don't fucking know.
I just hope
that
Reese Taylor died knowing that her truth, like the truth of so many other women who were tormented.
The thing is,
years,
this is all public, so there's links all over the place. Anybody could connect up.
11 years later, when
we're gonna have to change that.
I think I might be able to go in and edit the stream and
God, I hope so.
And fuzz out that, because otherwise it's going to be flagged and we won't be able to. Nobody will be able to see it.
Who chooses to listen. In my career, what I've always tried my best to do, whether
they've all got the same glasses,
film,
black
is to say
rims.
something about how men and women.
No wonder they're fucking living in the '60s and wearing fucking glasses
how we
from the
experience
'60s.
shame, how we love, and how we rage, how we fail, how we retreat, persevere, and how we overcome. I've interviewed and portrayed people who've withstood some of the ugliest things life can throw at you, but the one quality all of them seem to share is an ability to maintain hope for a brighter morning, even during our darkest nights. So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon.
Yeah, that would be Monday, Oprah. And it came and went, and nobody gives a shit.
So cut this bitch
up.
Cut this bitch up.
Because of a lot of magnificent women.
So pull up, just Google while you can, like Oprah sucking Harvey Weinstein's ear.
What?
Yeah, dude, Google it.
Okay.
Google that real quick and see if you can bring that image up on the screen. There you go. First picture right there. So a new day is on the horizon. So this is we were talking earlier. don't know. I don't know if you can blow that up like full screen or whatever. So we were talking about this earlier, right? And then we were discussing like how it's this have your cake and eat it too kind of mentality, right? So you can't tell me that this bitch didn't know what was going on with this guy for what, 10, 20, 30 years while he was a producer in Hollywood. And at now, when it's politically expedient to come out and kind of say hashtag me too or whatever,
Right.
she's just gonna reap all the fucking glory for like bucking the system. No, you are the system. Like you lived, ate, breathed, and slept that for 30 years. You don't get to like come in and reap this. So here's the thing, Peter, like I don't understand this. Like it takes courage for you to in the moment when Harvey Weinstein offered you the deal and said, get on this couch and suck this dick and I'll make you a star. If you stood up to him then and you said no and you walked out and you let the story go and you told everybody what a scumbag he was, then you're a hero.
Right.
And then you have integrity. When you suck the dick and you take the $1 million and you get the movie contract, and then 20 years later or 10 years later or 5 years later, even whatever,
you jump on the bandwagon.
You jump on the bandwagon. You're not a hero. You're a fucking whore.
You're a tattletale is essentially what you are.
You're a tattletale, right.
Yeah,
like
and if it wasn't if I didn't believe that this was like a standard business practice, and if they didn't believe it was a standard business practice, then it wouldn't have been happening in the first place. I mean, it brings to light issues that are not reserved for like even the 10 biggest scumbags in Hollywood. I mean, this is the top 90 percentile of scumbags are Hollywood. I mean, like that's just what it is. That I mean, and it's a culture that's built around, portraying, glamour and sex. And I mean, there's all of these things. And it's like, and it's the same place that produces, all of the fucking porn, and it's like, why are we under the illusion that there's ever been a Hollywood that wasn't like skeezy? I don't.
Right.
It's like
the whole thing's skeezy, like.
And and this isn't reserved for women. I mean, I'm sure that men do things they don't want to do all of the time, to make ends meet. What's that?
Children. Like let's talk about the Corey Feldman thing.
Oh well,
I don't totally discount.
See, that's the worst thing is when I mean, that's what's kind of ironic is in a way, women are almost acting childish because they act like, oh well, there was no alternative, or I didn't have a voice. It's like, yeah, you have a voice, and it's probably fucking annoying when you're like nagging at people, and I mean, people, what I mean, like, it's not that you don't have a voice, it's that maybe you felt like you didn't have a choice because other people who had to stoop to these levels to do these things.
Maybe you're even prepped. Your friends told you, look, this is what happens when you get in there, and this is what to expect. And
yeah, or maybe
it seems like some of the jokes that were made, that's what happened. So
or maybe if
you went into the situation knowing what to expect, and you kind of you got warmed up for it, you pre-gamed, maybe you got a little drunk, maybe you did a little coke. Harvey Weinstein, asked you to suck on his chode, and you go for it. You take the contract, right? Like you're not a hero. You're not a hero. So, what's up, Jimmy?
Thing working?
What's that? Yeah, I can see you.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. The last person. So we had Alex on here, and then I made Alex's head bigger on the thing. There you are.
Pretty much what
can you see? And then and then like some fucking scumbag named Jose comes in here, starts talking Spanish, and then fucking broadcast porn. So like,
dude, I know. My friend just told me about that. I have a friend watching this.
You had a friend watching, and they said they said that it showed up. So I'm just
they were like, "What the fuck?" I was looking at Facebook right then.
Yeah, so I'm kind of wondering, Yeah, like what's gonna happen? Because of course, I don't think you can put porn on YouTube, but I don't know
You might have to edit it out if you can.
I think you can. That's one thing that's cool about this shit is I think you can edit things out after the fact to make like if you happen to put like music in that's copyrighted or something, and then they flag it, you can go in and change the music. But I don't know about the video. Shouldn't be too hard to like fuzz it out or something. Hopefully. But yeah, we're just finishing talking about Oprah. And,
I saw that.
And yeah, her I think it's almost over.
Many of whom are right here in this room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, "Me too," again.
Like Ginuwine?
Yeah, like Ginuwine.
Check this out.
I think
This is
I don't know.
This is
Personality for me
Ginuwine
is
on
this. I mean,
Big Brother.
See, for me, this is the problem because I think I don't know whether you would say it or not, but I feel that a lot of guys would not go out with somebody like me, even though I'm a woman, because
No, some would,
they
though. No, but what you have to remember
some
is the
would,
ones that do.
but they
The
would
ones that
worry
do are the
about the
ones that
connotations of it being confused with gender queer.
Yeah, but,
Well, I don't
India,
even
what you
think
forget-
it. I
what
think
you-
it's
what you-
even more about. I think that we live in such a binary world where people think there's two options of gay and straight,
the world's
and I
a
think they
buffet
think,
these
I'm
days.
having sex with a
Well,
woman
you say,
who's
the
trans,
world's a buffet.
therefore
Right.
I'm gay, and I think that's why these conversations are important because
they
and
are
I think it's
important.
about.
I don't know how much of that you really caught, but they had this conversation, about transgender people or whatever, and that lady basically said that any guy who doesn't want to date a transgender person is afraid of being called gay.
Well, yeah.
But
Yeah,
it has nothing to
because-
do with whether they have a preference for vagina or not.
Right, yeah,
It has to do with that simply not here. Let her finish.
Masculinity at the end of the day is that men think that it takes something away from them from being
away.
with a trans woman, and ultimately.
So being with a
That's
trans
how he's
person,
screwed up.
being with a trans person means automatically if we don't want to be with a trans person, that we have she said a fragile masculinity.
Oh, yeah.
So we're afraid of being portrayed as as a broken man, and that we're confused.
Basically, what she's saying is suck this dick, or else you have a fragile masculine.
Right.
It doesn't work. No, it doesn't work.
It's because they're held to this rigid idea of I'm heterosexual, and if what does that mean? I don't know who I am.
Yeah. So I'm confused because I'm heterosexual and I don't want to have sex with gay people, and that's confusing to me, right? I'm the confused one because I don't want to, because I don't know. Suddenly, I don't know who I am in this world of being able to, have sex with any man, woman, child, or animal, and I choose to simply have sex with females. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on anymore.
It's even worse than that, because what you have there is a dude sitting on a couch who undoubtedly has a dick or a balls, or he doesn't have a vagina. He doesn't have ovaries. And if I wanted to have children, I can't procreate with him.
Oh, yeah, that's because, exactly. Children have nothing to do with this either. Obviously, we should be okay with a transgender person, even though we can't start a family with them unless we want to adopt a kid from Ethiopia.
That dude who's crazy enough to cut his own dick off is going to look at you
and tell me I'm confused.
And tell you're confused.
Right.
Because you don't want a piece of that. Forget being gay. I don't want to be with a fucking crazy person. You mutilated yourself. I don't want you around me.
Right, exactly.
This world, if it's not binary,
it's got to be
society
binary.
tells people it's not okay, and that's the thing. And I do.
So society tells us that being gay is not okay. Not anymore. Because I can't hear enough from society about how I'm supposed to not only accept gay people, but I'm supposed to bat for the other team at the same. I mean, like I'm irresponsible if I'm not gay now. Like that's how I end up feeling. I feel like being straight is like almost a minority, even though it's not. But that's what they want to put out there is that overwhelmingly that you're not supposed to be okay with only being heterosexual. I don't know if it's about empowering gay, transgender, whatever, LGBT.
It's about it goes back to the thing that I said about racism. Like they're pushing it. They're seeing how far you can slide down until someone says, okay, enough is enough. No fucking more. Like we did the gay thing. Now you're on to transgender.
Right.
Now you're
but
on
that's
to
the thing. If you're heterosexual and you push back, then you're labeled a hater.
Then we just got to start getting bloody and taking those lumps because it's gone too far. Like at this point, you're a dude who cuts his dick off to go be with women because you're a lesbian trapped in a man's body. Like
no, they go with
like
men though, don't they?
Like if I made that joke, like if I were on Dig 10 years ago, back when it was just about having gay marriage and stuff like that, or transgenders, and I made that joke, people would have said that's absurd. But now here we are.
Yeah.
Like here, this is where we are now.
And there are plenty of I mean, I'm not even going to go out and say that every gay person is emasculate either. I mean, like that wants to be a woman, because there's plenty of gay people that are masculine that just happen to like other. I mean, like they're more attracted to the masculinity of another man than they are to the femininity of a woman. But then,
there's a guy there. There's an author. I'm not gonna mention, but he actually wrote a book or a thesis about this, where his hypothesis or what he was saying basically is like, if you're truly gay, then you're what you would call androphilic, right? Meaning you love, like if you're a man and you're gay, you're androphilic, meaning you love masculinity.
Or isn't literally philo?
You love androgens, yeah. Like you love the andro like androgen, hairiness, muscularity, stuff like that. So if you're a guy and you're truly gay, what he was saying is like you would be seeking out like masculine macho guy.
Right,
like
not a cis,
not a guy trying to be a girl.
Exactly. Right. So that's what's kind of messed up. And this is what they're saying though is that because now that the man associates completely with femininity and has essentially ignored their masculine side, that that any man who likes femininity automatically has to like transgender people.
Society is changing, and then I believe it's your choice too. Like I would choose not to. Like that doesn't make me
but you
scared.
You would go out with another woman.
Would I go out with a woman?
You would go out with a woman.
A woman?
But you wouldn't go out with a transsexual woman.
No, because a transsexual woman is not the same thing.
He's happy to go with women, but
that's the thing that pisses me off the most is trying to do this apples to apples comparison. Like, I'm sorry that in your head you think that because you think female thoughts or you have female hormones or whatever that you are a female, but that's simply not true. I mean, you can't dress a cat up in a dog outfit and then tell everybody it's a fucking dog. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, it just simply doesn't fucking work that way. And
I had a great conversation with Samuel about this the other day.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Spill it.
Or are you...
I can't remember the
oh, Twitchy.
the details. Complicated.
Every woman.
Yeah, but he's happy to go with women, but he's not happy to go. This isn't an attack on you. I'm just saying
look at how confused he is.
He wouldn't feel comfortable going with me. if you're in my situation and you are trying to date,
he is so.
There
look at him.
is an extremely narrow band.
You're saying you're
and
not
from
gay,
my
but you're not
experience,
gay.
I'm not gay. But I've tried to date, and everything that comes back,
he's like,
you know,
what the
guys have
fuck?
chatted me up not knowing my past, but then as soon as they find out, whoa,
Today's
I'm a
world.
woman, right?
Okay.
Forget about any
Yeah,
teas or
exactly.
any-
But okay, that's like I mean, that is like watching a fucking Big Mac commercial and like, whoa, where do I get this 4-foot fucking hamburger, you know, that looks delicious? And then you go and buy one and you're like, what the fuck is this? Okay, it's false advertising is what it is. Why would people not be fucking pissed off? I mean, like, I don't get it, you know?
Call him a man.
Well, what they're doing is they're entrapping people, right? So they're basically saying, so thank God that at this point you can pretty much tell that it's a dude still. Like science and plastic surgery.
Actually, she's a pretty. That's a tough one for me. I mean, she kind of.
Like she's got a jaw. So I mean, I would definitely. She's
the
questionable.
cheekbones are questionable, but anything, yeah.
But no, on a side note, it's gotten to the point where now when I'm looking at girls, I'm like, like girls that were before I would have been attracted to them. I'm like,
you really have to wonder. Yeah.
I'm like, why she got an Adam's apple? No, I'm gonna stay away. I'm gonna steer clear of that one. No, what was I saying though? No, but it's gotten to the point, right, where what they want to say is that they want to entrap people and say like, okay, I don't have to tell you about my past because I'm a woman. I'm really a woman. And if you find out about that and you have a problem with it, then you've got the problem. No, that's bullshit.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's people lying to themselves first and foremost. If they feel like they have to hide their past to get, you know, somebody, then the problem's obviously with them to begin with. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, and you know, I can, you know, to a certain, you may not
if you're the kind of person who
like, if you're proud of it, like, that's the thing. I mean, you know, if you know, this whole gay pride thing, you know, it's understandable if that's how you feel and you just want to be accepted. You know, that's one thing. If you just want to be accepted as a person, like a bare bones person, not like, you know, trying to, you know, judge everybody on whether or not you'd go out with them or whatever, but just, you know, being accepted as a person, that's one thing, you know, but then, you know, trying to correlate that with, well, whether you're, you know, gonna be attractive or whether people like you or they want to like be your friend, like that's wholly subjective to the person, and it's not something that you just go for wide acceptance of. I mean,
and you can't control that. Like, no matter how much you try to bend or shape, you know, public opinion about this or like, you know, general morality on this, it's pretty immutable that a guy who wants to have children is going to seek out a woman, and that's never going to change. Like, you can call yourself a woman all day long. You can go through the operation. You don't have ovaries. Like, it's
well, right. And you can you know, and you can try and trick people, you know, into, you know,
the truth comes out. Like, the truth is going to come out, and when it does, you're the asshole. Not every. Well, it's not that. It's not that other people are transphobic. Like,
well, and you know, but they attack, you know, the whole idea of there being, you know, two genders, man and woman. You know, I mean, and it's like, you know, it's like science's fault or it's nature's fault that, you know.
The whole thing about that is like, I'm an extremely conservative guy. Like, I'm pretty right wing, right? But if they would just go ahead and fucking say sexuality is on a spectrum, gender is not, I would agree with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's agreeable.
You can't deny that, but they don't want to say that. They want to say gender's on a spectrum, and it's not. Like, it is binary.
Right.
Just call it what it is. So
yeah, I mean, you know,
I can't say anything. I can't be any more succinct on that.
I'm just a woman, okay? So on that score, you would date me, wouldn't you?
See, yeah, and so she says, okay, because I think that I am a woman, you should date me. Is what she says. She's like, because of my perspective and what I think, you know, then that means you have to be okay with seeing me as a, you know, so essentially because I see myself as a woman means you should see, you know, me as a woman.
You ever watch JP Sears on YouTube?
I've seen, yeah, he's like the hippie guy who
yeah, he's got a quote that it's like, to change the world, you should demand that other people be the change you want to see in the world. Not you, Chad. Like,
Right.
you don't
But yeah,
about
it just doesn't work that. I mean, that would, I mean, it's just, I mean, it just, there's so many laws of physics and just general, you know,
Yeah,
truth.
biology's in the way of this. It's
Yeah, I mean, it's nutty.
No, I'm not telling you I'm trans. I'm a woman.
Yeah, she's like, if I were to lie to you,
Woman, yeah.
Go on, let's have a kiss.
No.
You see, and I think
He's just not that into
he's
it.
just not that into you.
I think all the unspoken things that you can read into both those responses there illustrate my case 100%.
Yeah, her point was illustrated. If I was to come out and say that I think that I'm a woman, even though I was not born as a woman and had a surgery, that you should go along with that and automatically add me to your dating pool.
Right, yeah. It's up to me, not you. Who you date.
Right. Here, here's a little
whatever you say you want, Ginuwine, I'm it.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, who might be watching this at some point, you know, so Ginuwine was actually said to be in the wrong by, you know, various communities and everything, and you know, there was some backlash. It wasn't, you know, super major, I don't think, but you know, he was essentially called transphobic, while, you know, India, the one who, you know, was making the advances, was, you know, kind of let off the hook. You know, but at the same token, guess who got booted off?
I don't know who did.
The transgender one.
India. Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. She got voted off.
Well, then all is right in the universe. If
Right.
She got booted off. Big brother.
But here, I happened to run across this, and I thought it would be cool to show. This is from an old Jerry Springer
Today
show.
to meet the woman of my dreams. I've been talking to this girl on the internet for a while. I've actually been trying to save some money to go see this woman.
You talk to her online?
I go to the library, believe it or not, to
Okay.
talk to this woman. I met her on MySpace,
Yeah.
and she's a very beautiful woman. She's tall, skinny, she's redhead, very beautiful woman.
Why don't we do it this way? Because you've never met her
Never
before.
met her.
Well, then I'm going to ask you to leave for a few moments. And we'll want to bring her out, let the audience meet her, and then we can both observe you two meeting, which will be a nice moment in your life. Okay? So if you would just
all right, thanks a lot.
leave her. We'll have you back in a moment. Thank you.
No, it's like Nick Cave with food alcohol syndrome.
What's
her
that?
name is Joby. Let's bring out
The
Joby.
guy looks like Nick Cave if he had food alcohol.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Here's the shocker.
Hi, Joby.
Hello, Jerry.
You are, you met here, Brad, here on
know what to
the
say.
internet.
Yes, we met on MySpace.
On MySpace. And what attracted you to him?
He was cute. He seemed very nice when in the message he sent me.
Yeah. And you think this could be the one?
Yes.
And
But I have a secret to tell him.
you have a secret to tell him.
Yes.
And your
Show
secret
us.
is?
I'm a man,
Show was
Jerry.
ahead of its time.
You said he's genius?
This show is ahead of its
He
time.
says he wants to meet me,
oh, yeah.
you know, he tried to get a bus ticket or whatever.
Yeah.
I said I'd just call the Jerry Springer show, you know, because
Yeah.
then it'll give it more of a twist.
Give it more of a twist.
Well, let's see what, you know, what his reaction is going to be. But you really care about him. This isn't just to play a trick on someone. You really want him to be okay with you. All right. Well, let's bring him out now. Okay, how about a nice hand? Let's bring him back now. Here's Brad.
How you doing? So good to meet you.
This is so obviously.
It's kind of
fake.
nervous on national TV,
You think
I know,
so?
but like, I wanted to
sure.
ask, like maybe like, you know, you could be my girlfriend.
Well, Brad, I have to tell you, I'm a man.
Okay, so what do you think happens? I want to take some votes here.
I think they stage a fit fight and. Go ahead. What?
You go, Jimmy. You go first.
Okay. Well,
Have you seen this before?
possibilities. He's either gonna be like, I'm desperate and I'm gonna fuck it, or
Or what? I didn't catch the last part.
I said he's either gonna be like, I'm desperate, so fuck it, or he's just gonna run. He's just gonna like
just take off running. And you say they're gonna fight?
I say he stands up and he says, "Oh hell no," or something like that. He says something ghetto, and then chairs are thrown, and Big Steve has to step in and separate.
Okay,
and
let's find out. Let's find out what happens.
I'll try anything once.
It looks like Jimmy was 50% right here. look at the guys popping up. Everyone, look at Jerry. He was just like, oh man, epic.
It's scripted though. It's scripted.
But it is entertainment, you know. It is.
Well, the fact that it's scripted makes it better. That's why I say that show was fucking ahead of its time.
Dude,
that
I had a friend on screen.
That guy was pulling out. He was writing stuff that like he knew. The guy had obviously had his finger on the pulse of pop culture.
Right.
The fact that it's scripted just shows you how fucking smart Jerry Springer, at least his writers, were. Because to pull that out back when they were talking about MySpace, so it's at least like at a minimum 10 years ago.
10 years old.
Yeah, I just thought, in context of what we were talking about, that was some pretty funny shit. Because like that's the flip side, where somebody really just wants to go for it,
Oh, Alex is back, right? He's safe. Alex is safe.
All right. Hey, so we're gonna do this thing. So I don't I know, well, obviously you already know because we've been planning this, Jimmy or Twitchy. But Alex and Deci, have you ever heard of the Tide Pod challenge?
I have heard of it.
You have heard of it, and so it's pretty popular meme, going around. It's called the forbidden fruit. If you do a fucking search on Google for forbidden fruit, there's any number of fucking memes. The Hot Pockets with fucking Tide Pods in them. Just you name it. Because, I guess since their introduction, they've been kind of likened to, like they look like fruit snacks, and I guess there's a bigger incidence of like kids eating them and shit.
How the fuck do they look like a fruit snack?
How do they, or why do they?
How? It looks like a goddamn Tide Pod.
Well,
like,
because you know what it is.
Blue?
I mean, think about it. If you were a fucking stoned ape, okay, and you didn't even do laundry, right, and you just came across that, and it was like all brightly colored and everything like that, and you loved gummy bears, because I'm thinking, this is the tragic part about this whole thing. The irony about this whole thing is anybody with half a fucking brain who's like over the age of 6 or 7 years old, I mean, hopefully a little bit younger, you kind of develop this, but people are pretty dumb nowadays. You know that you're not supposed to eat a fucking Tide Pod. The risk isn't for people who understand these things. The risk is for like toddlers who are like toddling around and come across these things that are brightly colored that look just like fucking fruit snacks.
Right.
I mean,
so all that said, which one of us is getting ready to down a Tide Pod?
So Stitchy, he was actually gonna take the Tide Pod challenge. So, or Twitchy, not
Dude, you're
Stitchy.
gonna do that for us?
What's that?
Oh, he's gonna do that for us?
Yeah, like we plan this all out.
Well, I was supposed to, but all I have is a fucking Cascade pod.
Wait.
No. I'll email. I'll ship you all some Tide Pods.
Well, the thing is we, so wait, you were gonna make some like. So I found a fucking video online where somebody like uses Jello and shit, and we were gonna make a fake one, and he was gonna fucking eat it. Are you saying you didn't fucking make the shit like you were supposed to?
The fuck?
What?
The fuck?
The fuck's wrong with you? I'm not gonna make you eat a real fucking pod. Are you fucking nuts? Do you have a hammer or something? Can you just like?
Yeah, I have a hammer and a cascade pod.
You have a hammer and a cascade pod. So how about we just smash the fucking shit out of a fucking cascade pod and call it good?
That's the plan.
That's not the plan. All right, so here's Twitchy smashing a cascade pod.
I don't know. I feel like taking a bubble bath in it would be funnier.
What?
With Twitchy's naked body in there.
All right.
There you are. So what are you going to the are you going to your garage or something like that? Like, can you?
Dude, I'm on the fireplace, I guess. I have to figure out how to rotate the camera. There you go.
Hey, is that shit really loud?
Is what really loud? Like, I just heard some water running or something.
Yeah, okay. So you can't hear it. All right, I'm gonna let you go. I just wanted to check. I missed you guys.
We're gonna miss all the fun now.
Wait, we can't. It's not in the frame.
It's not in frame.
There you go.
There it is. You're in. All right.
All right.
Damn, you got the oven? What is that?
So.
Of course.
Oh, fuck.
You making a pizza?
What happened?
I fucking missed, but I'm going again.
Fuck, dude.
Oh, fuck, man.
What the fuck? The hell? You there?
Did the titty break the camera?
Fucking hell, bro.
What happened? Did it get all over you or something?
Huh?
What happened?
You got my fucking eye, bro.
You got it in your fucking eye.
Shit.
That's no good.
You know what's nice about
Your fucking cat.
You're good.
Well, you know.
That's what I do for your health.
What's that?
Just put some vinegar on it. That's what I do.
Yeah, well, actually, you're supposed to get somebody to pee on your eyes to remove the sting.
Really?
Can you have your cat like
Come here, kitty.
pee on your eyes?
Come here, kitty.
So apparently that this meme has gotten so big that Tide, they decided that they were going to respond with one of their most respected hawk ad hawkers here. Like, I don't know if you've checked this out yet.
No. No. What the heck is going on, people? Use Tide Pods for washing, not eating.
Yeah, no shit.
Right.
Do not eat.
Do not eat. Hey, Gronk.
Fucking say this.
Hey, exactly. Like, really? Like, come on. Do you really have to fucking say it? I mean, the people who... That's what I'm trying to say. Like, the people know they're not supposed to eat these. I mean, unless they're fucking toddlers who... Like, that's where all of these accidents and kids who have to go to the fucking hospital for this shit... Like,
well, no, it's teenagers now because they're doing this Tide Pod challenge and they're actually down in real fucking Tide Pods.
But they're doing it, yeah. I mean, but they understand the risk. I guess my point is that, like,
I don't know, do they? Because they're winding up in the fucking hospital like enough that Gronk has to put out a goddamn video telling people not to eat Tide Pods.
No, but the people who go to the hospital are just fucking scared and stupid. They don't know how to fucking handle them. It's the same people can take a hit of acid and run out into the street naked.
Exactly.
They can't fucking handle their drugs.
Well, it's their mom taking them to the hospital. Like, they're
I'm addicted to Tide Pods. I don't think people understand.
What are people addicted to the Tide Pods?
Stop using fucking fashion statement. You know what I mean? People fucking like wear glasses without fucking lenses in them. That's fucking rude. I wear glasses. I take that personally. I don't know. If the memes are true, then there was probably at some point somebody were like, why did they make this shit look like candy? That's to me the point. Is that the shit looks like fucking candy, and to a 2-year-old or to a 3-year-old, I mean it's
What fucking candy have you been eating? It doesn't look like candy to me.
You sure?
It doesn't. It's like a white powder. If anything, it looks like a bag of Coke with some orange and blue shit stapled to it. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, how does it look like candy? Like, it's white powder. Like, what do they think? It's like a pixie stick? Like, maybe I open up the white powder and mix it with the blue raspberry sauce. What kind of candy?
Raspberry sauce. I like that.
I mean, I think it could be mistaken as something that looks similar to like a fruit. They calling it forbidden fruit, for crying out loud, because it looks like fruit snacks. Like it
doesn't look like a fruit snack. Like, I've had fruit roll-ups before, Peter. Like, they don't look like Tide Pods. Like fruit by the foot, fruit roll-up, fucking Gushers. None of that looks like a goddamn Tide Pod. Like, I'm not buying it. I think you're just fucking retarded. Like, your kid eats a Tide Pod, he deserves what's coming to him, you know?
Adios.
Oh, you taking off?
Yeah, he had to go.
Oh.
We talked over him for Joe. He said he was addicted.
So check this out.
Where we make hard candy. Today we're going to make the forbidden fruit candy, and we hope it's going to bring cheer to your day. We're pouring our big pot of
cheer,
sugar here.
TM Procter & Gamble. See that?
Degrees Fahrenheit.
This is counterproductive because now they actually are making a
already added the flavor in the pot. And you may ask what flavor. And honestly, I think just
it's a fucking train wreck, man.
Would be appropriate for this design. And it's citrusy and it smells nice and it has a little interesting taste, and I have no idea what it is, but it's wonderful. We've been told that forbidden fruit comes in a bunch of colors, but we've only ever seen orange and sort of a purplish blue. So we're going to add a dash of those two colors, and we're going to let the water boil off into steam. And that's going to evaporate the water from the food coloring and keep our candy from being sticky. The candy cooling table has done its job.
We don't need to watch
now
anymore.
the candy has changed.
That shit just goes to show you, though, that, you know, anything can, like, turn into a fucking train wreck, you know? Because that shit's fucking crazy.
It shows you that in the age of the internet, like, nothing is fucking safe. Like, Tide's, like, sitting there, what the fuck? Like, they've got lawsuits coming at them. You know they've got lawsuits coming at them now? Like, all we wanted to do was make it easier for you to wash your goddamn clothes. You guys are chomping on our Tide Pods. Like, how do we come back from this?
Has anybody seen the original thing that started all of this?
Which thing?
No.
What the fuck is that?
Sorry, I just had to.
What does that even mean? What does that mean? I don't know.
It doesn't mean anything. Have I seen the original? No. What is the original?
I don't know, but I just assumed that everything started this whole, like, fad.
Well, I remember several years ago, a kid did eat a Tide Pod and he died.
Yeah, it's. I went to Know Your Meme, and I mean,
Why did you make it look so colorful?
People. Exactly. Well, that's my point. Is
they were just like,
okay? Here's the point. My point is if they're gonna do anything, okay. So if Tide is gonna address this issue anyways, why get a fucking meathead football player to fucking go and say, don't eat Tide Pods? Anybody who can understand his language probably already knows they shouldn't be eating it. And if they do, it's because they're stupid and they're just trying to, like, act out and get famous on the internet, okay? He's not speaking to anybody who's actually at risk for accidentally eating this. So if they wanted to do anything, they would simply change the format of it so it didn't look as appealing to eat. Because obviously people think it's appealing to eat, or why do we have a fucking meme about people eating Tide Pods? I mean, you know, it seems pretty simple to me, you know.
Why do we have that? That's your question?
Yeah, like, it's just like, you know, why do we have this?
Like, there's no logical origin to this. It sounds you're arguing against yourself. You're saying on one hand they look like candy, therefore that's why people are eating them. They're calling them forbidden
I'm
fruit.
not saying that I had the idea that they looked like candy, because I would have never had that idea had people not already said that. You know, like, I did not ever see a Tide Pod and say, oh shit, that looks too attractive to be detergent. I think it's possible little kids might eat it. That thought never crossed my mind, and it probably never crossed Tide's mind either. But the fact is, somebody along the way, decided that it looks enough like candy that it might pose, a higher risk.
I don't think it ever looked like candy. I think little kids put everything in their goddamn mouth.
Well, they do, but I mean,
right.
What
Like,
are you
so
going to
they
put in
can
your
pick
mouth?
up
A white fucking powder or something that's like bright orange that looks just...
Babies put everything in their mouth. They teeth and shit. And somebody's little toddler got a hold of a Tide Pod and he stuck it in his mouth. And then they tried to say, look, you made it look too much like a candy. Bullshit. Everything can look like a fucking candy. Like this pen looks like a candy because it's red and bright. Get the fuck out of here. Like it looks like a licorice stick or whatever.
The video of the dude dabbing the Tide Pod.
Dabbing the Tide Pod? I haven't seen that one.
Dude, can you find it and stream it on here?
I could, but I'm not.
What's dabbing the Tide Pod mean?
I mean, there's so many, Tide memes that, it's inconceivable. Like, what's so special about somebody trying to dab one? That's what I want to know.
I don't even know what that means. Is that like the dance move, the dab?
No, dabbing? Like smoking dabs, dabbing, okay. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I got another viral video that I want you guys to see. Tell me if you've seen this one.
How you doing? Today I'm going to show you how to clean out your shower drain. Now,
has anybody seen this?
We're all filthy creatures, so this isn't just my family. You get in the shower, your hair falls off, it gets collected in the shower drain. And after a while, you're going to be standing in a bunch of water, so somebody's got to do the job to clean it out. And, well, my wife ain't going to do it, so it's going to be me. So...
Does anybody have any ideas of what happens?
He's going to pour gasoline down the fucker and try to burn the hair
I don't have any, so I'm gonna
you think he's going to pour gasoline down the drain and burn it?
Kind of what I
expect. What you want to do is take your flathead.
When I first watched it, I thought like a rat was going to pop out or something like that.
Here. Pops on out. And then you just pull that.
What is that?
He's fucking gagging. Dude's literally gonna puke.
It's got a... There's a smell sometimes. It gets stuck down in there in the trap. And maybe I should have got a clothespin for my nose. Let's try it again.
So I'm not gonna play very much more of this because you can kind of see what's happening here.
This is hilarious.
It just keeps going.
Is it just air?
It's just shit that's trapped in the fucking drain. And he just cannot fucking handle it.
It does. Like that shit does smell sometimes, but shit, it's not that bad.
Well, and you just, I just didn't expect it. It just caught me like completely by surprise.
So you just want to.
All right, I'm moving on because it pretty much just keeps doing the same thing. Have you seen this?
I have seen this, yeah.
Oh, you have? Have you seen this? Yeah. The Twitchy? What do you think is going to happen? Got any guesses?
I can't see it.
You can't see it?
I like how he points to his fucking.
He's like, that's where the action happened, folks. Oh shit.
I don't know why it's not.
Can
shit. Oh, I can see it.
What are you looking at right now? Do you ever do this in class, Dutch?
This is, if I ever walk into a class,
What's that?
What the fuck?
Look at
Like, what's the practical application?
They're just trying to prove they've got balls of steel. Yeah, there's not really much else to it. Here, I got one more. Then I got a fucking pee. So I don't know if you're wanting to be done or if you have anything.
We'll let you go pee, and we'll do we'll close it out after you get back.
Positions. Say sitting in a chair.
This is fucking hilarious.
Oh, you've seen this?
Yeah, this is fucking
So what
hilarious.
I'd like to do is demonstrate a technique which I call defense against a guy in a chair. Excuse me. Now, in future tape series, I plan to cover similar defenses against a guy with his back turned, a guy with a blindfold, and a guy with a broken leg.
A guy with a and a pregnant, hungry woman. That shit's way too funny. So, well, man, I think we touched on just about everything we wanted to.
I think that's about it for this week. We're gonna have to figure out how we do how we edit out Hoser's hose.
Yeah, that was unfortunate and unexpected turn of events.
If I spent 2 hours on this podcast and we can't do anything with it because of that jackass, I'm gonna be.
Did y'all even know that guy?
No, I don't. I mean, it's obviously somebody who just got the link somehow. I mean, and obviously has nothing productive to do.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move the link. Don't put it out next time. We'll just keep it in house.
But the whole point is to try to attract people who actually want to have a discussion. So I mean,
sure, we'll
have
do that,
to
but we'll get a phone
people.
number. We're gonna get a phone number, and then we'll be able, the language. Who cares? We can always just mute them. But I don't want people joining in and being able to video shit.
So it's the video, yeah. Well, I wasn't intending on putting him on there. It's just I had to screenshot where I had to draw a square around where Alex was, and you could see Alex. And then when he came in, he bumped Alex over and showed up in his place. And then all of a sudden, it was funny because perfect storm, really. Because I didn't intend to put him up there, and it's sure enough. I mean, he obviously must have had the idea that he was going to try to, hijack the thing with some porn. So, I mean, it was successful, way to go. I mean, now I know why we have so many illegal immigrants from Mexico. They're pretty good at fucking sneaking into this shit,
Sneaking porn into
fucking,
shit.
yeah, it's fucking Trojan horse shit going on here.
All right, man. Well, I think we'll talk about we'll come after you get done peeing. We'll polish it up and then we'll go offline and figure out how we edit it.
Oh wait, well the whole peeing is part of the whole polishing thing.
Oh, are
I'm
you
just
done?
kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll leave. I'll remove myself from here, and then you guys can just chit chat, and then I'll add myself back in when I'm done.
Sounds good. All right, so Jimmy, what's up?
Man, just hanging out with my cat.
Hanging out with your cat?
Old cat lady shit.
Old cat lady shit? Where are you from? Where are you located?
Florida.
Huh?
Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida? You're in Florida too? What part?
Oh, north.
Okay, yeah. I'm in Central right now.
Oh, you're in Florida?
Yeah. So that's good. So how do you know Peter?
Facebook mostly. I met him one day. I met him several.
Oh, okay. I've been Peter and I go way back. I was working with him. I don't know if you know his whole story and shit, but
yeah.
Interesting stuff. So what's doing, man? What are you doing tomorrow for the holiday?
I don't even know what holiday it is.
You don't know what holiday it is? It doesn't fucking matter. We got. I don't know. Tomorrow should be off. Do you work? Do you work, Jimmy? Do you work at all?
19.
What's that?
No, man, I'm 19. I'm like
19. Okay.
19 and lazy.
That's whatever. That works.
Yeah.
Got the whole hair thing going. So.
What do you do?
This is what I do.
Oh, really?
Podcast shit. No, I'm fucking with you. I have a regular job, and I have like a business that I run. So, nothing too exciting. All right. So what happened with the Jello, the Tide Pod Jello thing? You guys were gonna put Jello in a Tide Pod and eat it?
No, we were gonna make like a Tide Pod Jello replica and eat it, but I ran out of time.
That would have been badass.
That would have been badass because it was like seriously worried peeps out there. But
Right. Yeah. So how do you do it? Like, do you get an actual Tide Pod and then empty the contents out and then inject Jello, or?
You get several different types of Jello, and you just make Jello in different containers, and then you cut it into the shapes and put it together. It's actually really simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to do any like sleight of hand, like hold a real Tide Pod and then kind of switch it at the last minute for the.
Originally for this, I was like make a fake Tide Pod and have a bunch of real, like just switch it around. But like I said, that was like last minute bullshit.
Gotcha. Well, it would have been cool, whatever. Let's see here. This is pretty fucking crazy.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
That was fucking badass. Can you hear what you sound like, Ray?
Yes.
Because the laugh is perfect. I know you're not even trying to make it sound like that, and it sounds perfect. Like,
What do you mean?
Wait, does somebody else want to talk about this?
What?
Oh, Peter's back.
Peter. Where is Peter?
Where's
Let me. Oh shit.
Man, not smoking it so hard.
Not weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you've been doing it for a long time, it can be.
Yeah, like 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, I started smoking when I was in 8th grade.
It's not that long. I mean, there's people who smoke a lot longer and quit, I'm sure. Quitting fucking cigarettes is fucking hard.
I don't know. It's never really bothered me. Like, I forget to smoke sometimes.
You forget to smoke sometimes.
I haven't bought any cigarettes in 3 days. Ugh.
Damn, well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have a problem with that because it's like worse for you, I would assume.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is good because, you are a lot more likely to find a job, and keep it if you.
And it's like, I needed a break, man. Like, my memory is shot, and yeah.
Right. So
your memory shot. What memory of what? This dude's 19.
Memory of what?
My fucking memory.
Very recent events.
Right.
What you had for breakfast? Like,
I swear to God, half the time, like when I was actively smoking a lot, I did not know what I had for breakfast. Like seriously, I had my days confused. Didn't know what day it was. I was just like,
I mean, in your defense, that is probably 99% of millennials who don't have jobs. Like, I mean, like, what the fuck do they care what day it is? You know.
the days run together, and
I mean, that's just life. I mean, why does it even matter what day it is if you don't have a job and you don't have to be somewhere at a certain? I mean, what you do on a day-to-day basis dictates whether or not you care about a schedule.
Yeah, I tried to go up to the school yesterday to get like my testing information, and my grandma was like, "This Saturday."
I mean, it'll get better once you get some sort of sense. I mean, I don't forget the day, but I still, there's not much difference between a fucking Sunday and a Thursday when you're not, working or doing anything. So there's like, but it
and
is.
I guess time is just getting weird because I'm getting older. I mean, years are going a lot faster as you age.
See, I don't know. I mean, that also depends on what drugs you're taking too, because I mean, like I feel like time. I feel like time is actually pretty slow for me, right? I mean, like I mean, to me, it's kind of one of those things like time flies when you're having fun. Like when you're busy, and so I guess the point is the busier you get, your concept of time changes, and minutes seem to be shorter because you're busy and doing stuff.
It's definitely the drugs too. I mean,
yeah, like
I really tasted the rainbow this year as far as doing everything possible. Doing all the brain cells.
Well, get it out while you're young, right? Like,
I was like, I'm really glad I messed up this bad when I was young, because like I have like so much living to do that doesn't have to be like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody, like there's, an experimental phase that I kind of skipped the experimental phase and went straight into fucking marriage and having, some kind of a career and then having kids, and then decided I didn't do enough experimenting when I was younger, so I threw all of that away.
Let's hold that for the next episode.
Right.
Yeah,
well, there's plenty
like hours of
there's plenty of personal anecdotes that can be thrown in at any given time. There's no rush for that. What is that you're drinking, anyways?
Tonight I'm drinking.
Is that Maker's Mark?
Should be like fucking advertising for people. Town and Branch bourbon.
Oh, well, if you just said bourbon, you have to.
Yeah, I could have just. I don't know. I thought you wanted to know the brand. I thought you wanted to know the brand and shit.
You thought I would or I wouldn't?
I thought you would.
No, I don't. I'm not like an alcohol connoisseur. I don't know.
When you said, "What are you drinking?"
Well, I meant like what type of alcohol?
Bourbon.
Like, I mean, I'll cover up my label and you can tell what I'm drinking. It's beer, cerveza. What the hell is that?
Well, I already said you're drinking a Corona. So.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So we're ready? We're gonna tie it up?
I guess we're done for now.
All right.
That's nice, and there's a couple hours. Well, I appreciate
2 hours.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate both of you, and
I appreciate you inviting me.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for
thanks for coming in, Jimmy. That was like, you were definitely the best guest that we had. It was pretty slim pickings. It was. You really didn't have to work that hard. You just had to beat some douchebag who fucked up her whole like mellow.
So sorry.
Yeah.
But no, it was very good. Man.
Alex
Thank
isn't. He's not always like that. I'm not.
No, Alex was cool too.
You were
Jimmy
talking
and
about
Alex
Jose then. You were talking about the porn because I'm like, wait, what do you have against Alex exactly?
No,
like,
Alex was fine. Alex was fine. I meant the other guy.
This is the, yeah. Well, that's what I'm gonna have to do. Is after we finish this up, I'm gonna check it out and see if I can like blur out that.
Let's go ahead and kill the feed now, and then I want to work with you and see if we can get it fixed.
All right.
Go back through and see what happened because like I was on Facebook for like just 3 seconds, and apparently that happened.
What? Oh, you didn't even see it?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I got off for a minute.
Well, I mean, you didn't really miss anything exactly. But what happened was I had Alex, like in a little window that was being captured from down in the corner of my Google Hangouts window. So I've got like, Deci's, feed is like right in the middle of the window, so I have that kind of cropped out and pasted over, and then down at the bottom I had Alex. Well, then this hoser dude fucking comes in and he bumps Alex over, and so you just see where Alex was like a little profile picture that it's a blank profile picture that just says Jose on it, and he starts talking or whatever, and we're like, hey, how's it going, whatever, and I said some stuff in Spanish and stuff. And then all of a sudden, fucking porn shows up right where his fucking head, his profile picture was. And then I just fucking, like, deleted it real quick. But obviously, there's not much you can do once somebody decides to do that. So, but, and...
Let's speak more on that stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately, I wasn't even intending to put that person's feed... in any ways, and as far as this whole thing is concerned, I mean, I think if it was just audio, it probably wouldn't be a problem, but because it's video, I think that it could be flagged by somebody as inappropriate, because I don't know if just
possibly and like edit.
I think so. We'll find out. Otherwise,
I think we can. It wasn't up that long, so I think we can either trim like the whole time it was in there out, or you should be able to just blur it.
Yeah, and if either of those fails, I mean, I have it recording to. It should be anyways. I think I have the setting set where it's actually recording to my hard drive, so I could just edit that and then re-upload it. Well, actually, I don't know if I can re-upload it because this is like hours long, and usually you can only upload like 10 minutes on Facebook. So. I don't know. We'll find out.
We could cut the best 10 minutes. So this
make
thing's
like
not
a highlight reel.
Total. Yeah, we'll do like a.
Facebook also, is it just on YouTube?
What's that?
Is it just streaming on YouTube or? Is it
well, I have it. Yeah, because me and Deci were talking and mulling over the options, and going live on Facebook just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's not really the forum. Specifically, I mean, YouTube is kind of meant for video, and it's meant for these live things, and Facebook has a really clunky kind of interface and stuff. I mean, this has, you can actually, if you're watching, if you weren't in the Google Hangouts and you were just watching the feed, like there's chat and stuff like somebody. I mean, technically, there could have been people chatting this whole time, and we wouldn't have even known it because nobody's moderating that. But
my friend said he enjoyed it though. He said it reminded him of us, like just talking on the porch and chilling. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like,
well, that's kind of the point. Like I do, because like I do have like this cool little like thing that I can add in there. I can actually add the video into like this this plugin that I have, and if there was anybody watching and chatting, it would actually show up like in the feed or whatever. Because I mean, that's most of this is I just, me and Deci and I mean all my friends have like opinions on stuff, and I just think would be cool to get everybody different people's opinions on stuff. Make friends and then get them to come in and just say what's on their mind and shit. And I think it's entertaining. I mean, it's not exactly production level at this stage, but it's kind of hard to like be a part of the conversation and trying to like work on all the technical stuff too. Like that's when you have to actually have like some like an engineer or something helping you out, you know, which eventually that's what I wouldn't mind doing is like helping other people, you know, create their own YouTube videos or whatever, you know, with equipment and stuff. But anyways, yeah, we'll cut this. We'll finish this up and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining in.
Hell yeah.
Thanks. See you.
Adios.
Have a good night.